Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, let's figure out what is happening and what we can expect, of course, as per usual, moving forward. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below. If you're interested in my intraday updates, post thoughts daily, I do this every single day. The market is open, and Options Flow as well, which is a paid service. Link is down below for Options Flow or for Cheddar Flow if you want 25% off. But yeah, with all that being said and done, I think I said I'm not a financial advisor, which I am not. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Tesla closing the day in the green, actually, up 2.2% compared to the market itself. Is going to be a nice, beautiful little outperformance, closing at pretty much $185 per share, which is great to see. Pretty important level, but in my opinion, there's a little bit more work to be done, but man, it's a damn good start. It truly, truly is. So I want to quickly take a look at the pre-market. You can see in the pre-market, we did actually sell off pretty substantially. We went back down pretty much to the exact same level of 175 pre-market, right? Which is a decent sell-off, right? So I think it was somewhere from around here to, why is it not doing it? I think let's just go from here, something like this, and then something like this. Yeah, we're down almost 3% in the pre-market, which is quite a bit, right? Just a kind of almost like a random sell-off. I'm not really sure why that was, but thankfully I slept through that, or else that would have been not a fun thing to wake up to. But nonetheless, not only did we recapture, a fair amount of it, actually quite a bit of it, but we ended up also closing in the beautiful green at 185. So that's a damn good start, right? That's a really, really good sign to see. Let's take a look at the actual technicals over here. So there's a lot of good things setting up for Tesla here. The RSI is peaking its head up, right? It's above all these levels before, even though we're obviously well below these levels. So that's a nice little start. The MACD is curling. It's not flipped bullish yet, but it's definitely curling and basing and curling. Very good sign as well that, the base seems like it is definitely forming. Remember a while ago, like I think it was like a solid week ago, and I was talking about how there's a lot of whales coming in with cash secured puts around the 180s-ish level, pretty much expecting that this 180s-ish level should be the base for Tesla. That seems to be the case, and they were damn good at doing that because, like I said, when you sell cash secured puts, you don't necessarily need Tesla to rocket up. All you need for it to do really is just nothing, just pretty much go sideways, and that's kind of what it has been doing in this general 180s level. So those people, those whales that sold those cash secured puts, even though while Tesla is just kind of zigzagging sideways, like pretty progressively, but nonetheless sideways, they're just reaping the rewards, the benefits from it, really. So it's kind of the beautiful thing about selling options sometimes, honestly. But nonetheless, let's talk about what we can expect. So like I said, overall MACD, RSI, all of them are looking good. The stochastic is, it's looking okay. Nothing too crazy there in my opinion. We have the Williams percent range over here, similar to the RSI, peaking its head up as well. So there's a lot of signs pointing that Tesla wants to finally start making its move back up. Now, the main question, of course, is going to be, well, do we rocket up? Do we just completely pull essentially an NVIDIA here? Or do we kind of take it step by step and it'll be a slow grind back up? I'll be honest, I don't have a full answer for you just yet. The squeeze indicator has so far been just showing out that we played the squeeze to the downside, which we absolutely have, right? So it's not really showing anything meaningful in terms of whether or not this move will be parabolic to the upside or a slow but potentially, hopefully, convincing move to the upside, right? We don't know that for sure. Now, one thing to note, though, however, is the fact that we did break above ever so slightly this yellow trend line that has been rejecting us pretty substantially ever since this downtrend started at 265, right? Constant rejection, and every single time we came close to breaking out from it, some news gapped us severely back down. The most notable one being earnings. Then we had the Delaware case court, right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kept getting gapped down over and over and over and over. Now, finally, we are peeking our head just barely outside of this resistance. I'm not super convinced just yet, but it seems like aftermarket Tesla is up a little bit more. Actually, I'm gonna double check that really quickly here. It seems like we're up about another 0.2%. So it's a damn good start, and it's looking good, and it's looking promising in all honesty, but I want a little bit more of a push to really be more convinced. And like I said, an even further convincing story would be breaking above 195. So interesting thing about 195 is if we go to the 4-hour chart, sorry, I think it was this chart right here, we do have an order block, a sell order block sitting pretty much exactly around that 193 to 195-ish area, which is this block all the way up here. So this is going to be something to pay attention to. I do think that, it's looking convincing. The 4-hour chart is looking even better than the daily chart, right? It's showing that, we definitely broke out of this downward spiral, which is great to see. But with that being said, the 65-minute chart, but with that being said, if we do play out from here and we do rocket back up to about 193 193, 194, something like that, right? Give or take. Of course, that is going to be, first of all, a nice solid 4 or 5% move, which number one is, great. But number two, we are going to be entering this order block pretty much right here, right now. So that might show as a bit of a rejection point. Maybe we reject from there a little bit, come back down, retest about 190 to high 180s once again. And then I think from there, we should hopefully break back above the order block, which is going to be a good thing to see. But in my opinion, again, like I said many times before, step number one, break out of this downtrend, which we're peaking our head above right now. It's looking pretty good, especially tomorrow, as long as tomorrow is not some extra, some crazy gap down like we have been seeing many times. So it is a possibility. But as long as it's not a crazy gap down once again, and we do convincingly open tomorrow's candle well above this trend line, which so far is looking to be the case with the current aftermarket price action, that's a good start. But even more convincing, of course, like I said, is a break above 195, a break above 195. And I think this party can finally get started. The MACD should absolutely flip bullish by then. The RSI will look like it's finally showing some life, some strength. And that's going to be what personally I'll be looking at myself. Like we talked about this many times, but ultimately we have been essentially in this zigzag, potential bull flag like we talked about yesterday, bouncing off this 618 Fibonacci level, pretty much right around here at about 175, 176-ish per level or per share. Looking pretty good. The weekly candle is looking phenomenal. Obviously, there's still 3 more days to the week. This can definitely change for the better or for the worse. We'll see what happens. But so far, the weekly candle, if it closes looking like this at all, by the end of the week, man, that is a textbook looking hammer candle. Again, like I said, there's still a lot of time for the rest of the week. There's still more than half of the week left. So this can definitely change quite a bit, again, for better or for worse. We'll keep monitoring it daily until the week finally closes, and that'll give us a better idea. But if the weekly candle, like I said, does close, though, anything like a hammer candle like this, oh boy, man, I really do believe that in the next week or two, we should be revisiting about, 215-ish, pretty confidently, in all honesty, pretty confidently. And then from there, we'll of course have to reassess and determine, is there even more room to the outside left, or do we reject? And all it's going to be is nothing more than a retest of this breakdown of these trend lines. And that's all, all she wrote essentially, right? So that's going to be the main thing I'll be watching for now. But today, like I said to my members, mainly a kind of a wait and see day. So far we waited, we saw, I sold some cash secured puts. And if we do get a convincing breakout, I most likely will re-enter on a bit of extra shares as well and ride it up to at least 195, most likely take some profit and then see how it reacts until we close back above 195, and then most likely re-enter again and kind of rinse and repeat that strategy and that cycle. And that's kind of my personal game plan right now, right? But all in all, that's the main thing I'm looking at right now, right? Again, you can look at it in such a way where, this downward yellow trend line is kind of the resistance, if you will, and the support is, of course, this massive channel of the bottom of the overall big channel that we're in, which is, of course, the support. And we're kind of getting, pretty darn tight within this area, pretty much at the apex with, so far, again, remains to be seen, but so far looking promising for the bulls to finally find a way to break back above. Very interesting stuff. Now, one thing I always found interesting is sentiment. The Tesla sentiment when we were trading around here was atrocious. Like, it really felt like we're trading way back down over here once again. It felt really that bad. Like, the sentiment was extremely poor, extremely negative. People were constantly calling for like 160s, 150s, 140s. And it reminds me back when we were trading all the way back here and everyone was calling for 60, 70, 80 before Tesla just said, yeah, F that, and just rocketed back up. And I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm getting similar vibes. Now, the other things to note is the fact that, of course, like I said before, and so far it's absolutely holding true, and it seems like it'll remain to hold true, is a beautiful looking bullish divergence. As we've been setting lower lows over here on the chart, we've been setting very convincing higher lows on the RSI. Beautiful looking bullish divergence, one of my personal favorite things to play. We had that hammer candle yesterday, which is why I said the red hammer candles aren't really my favorite in terms of, being super convincing. And that kind of came with the volatility today. I think that if this was a green hammer candle, I think today's movement would have been a lot cleaner, honestly. But nonetheless, we still closed higher than yesterday's close. Great sign as well, showing some nice strength as well. We have a potential, what seems like a nice, beautiful looking bullish engulfing candle. As you can see, this candle closed above yesterday's close and engulfed the majority of the candle as well, which is great to see. So that's also bullish. And yeah, the next thing to look at is going to be pretty much a resemblance between this price action that we see pretty much, that we're experiencing right now to what this price action was over here. I believe this was also relative. Yeah, this was also an earnings drop. We ended up selling off even more, right? And then, we dropped a little bit from earnings. Well, not a little bit, dropped a decent amount from earnings, had a bit of a rally. Cool. Dropped from earnings, had a little bit of a rally. Cool. What happened next? Here, after the rally, we went down and made lower lows. setting up a nice looking, decent looking, I guess we'll say, bullish divergence. Not as good as the one we have now. The one we have now is much better looking, but nonetheless, we did make lower lows before finally basing also around this channel or the bottom of the channel that we're in right now. Same thing here, gap down after earnings, nice little rally, sold off even further to go lower, and now we're basing exactly the same way, or very similar rather to the same way we based over here, setting up bullish divergences at the bottom of the channel at a beautiful support. And so far, it's looking like we're peeking our head above the water and looking like we may want to continue up even further. So that's going to be great to see if that actually comes to fruition. But all in all, like I said, I think Tesla is potentially bottomed here. Now, the question will remain, of course, after this potential rally that's potentially setting up and coming up here, will we continue forward, or do we, after the rally, make a lower low? That's going to be the question, and that's going to be interesting to see. But again, one step at a time. Let's focus on this potential rally setting up here first. Let's see where it takes us. Again, my main price targets, first level 195. I do think we'll breach it, but I do think that it will be the potential first area of rejection. Above 195, we have the gap fill pretty much at about 210 per share. Above that, we have the 200 moving average sitting at about $220 per share, which is roughly where the trend line retest will be. And above that, we have about $230 per share, which is where the 200-day moving average is, of course, on the daily chart, which is also where we had a massive breakdown. And I do think that there's a very real possibility from here we go all the way up to about 225 to 230, which is about a move of 20%. Again, wouldn't hold my breath for it, but I don't think it's completely impossible either. And we get a retest of about roughly the 200-day moving average on the daily itself as well. And yeah, we'll see. People forget that sometimes Tesla can move up just as fast as it moves down, and people tend to forget that every single time. And then they're usually reminded pretty quickly of that as well. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. But so far, it looks promising, looks good. Looks like the bottom, at least for now, is in. And we'll see how tomorrow reacts and if we can continue this momentum to the upside. But with all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Options flow, I forgot to mention, overall bullish. Definitely some bearishness coming in at times, but overall definitely looking bullish with a bullish close as well, which is great to see. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.